How's it going everybody? I am Mr. Bo, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the Court of Oryx and giving you guys all the information you need to know on what it actually is. So the Court of Oryx is a location on the Dreadnaught which you can go to in patrol, and you can instigate your own public events. How exactly do you do this? So in order to actually activate an event, you will need a rune. In order to get a rune, you'll need to kill enemies on the Dreadnaught, and eventually one will drop you a rune. This will then allow you to activate the Court of Oryx. So you'll go to the Court of Oryx and there will be 3 statues. There's tier 1, tier 2 and tier 3. These are the different difficulties of the Court of Oryx. Tier 1 will be fairly easy, tier 2 will be slightly harder, and tier 3 will be the hardest. Now there are different tiers of runes you'll be able to get from enemies, and these will be required to get into the different tiers of the Court of Oryx. So your lower tier rune will get you into tier 1. And if you want to get into the tier 2 version with your tier 2 rune, then you'll actually need to play 3 tier 1s in order to charge up your tier 2 rune in order to play tier 2. The same goes for tier 3, you'll need to play 3 tier 2s in order to charge up your rune in order to then play that tier. So what exactly happens when you activate your rune to go into a tier? So what exactly happens when you put a rune in to summon the Court of Oryx public event? Well, it will spawn a boss, and there are going to be different bosses for you each time. It will never put you up against the same boss in tier 1 or tier 2 in a row. We don't know how that will work for tier 3 because we didn't actually get to see that. We also got to see some examples of some of the bosses we're going to be fighting. For instance, one we saw was a knight who every time you took down his shield it would come up with a different burn. So firstly he had void, you took that down, it would come back up, it would be solar, kind of like the Cabal boss in the Prison of Elders. Another boss we saw was 3 wizards. Now these wizards needed to be killed at exactly the same time, otherwise the wizard would respawn. So if you had 3 wizards up and you took down 2 but you couldn't get rid of that last wizard, the other 2 wizards would then respawn, so you need to take them all down at the same time. Another boss we saw was 2 knights. Now these 2 knights had shields, which meant you couldn't attack them at all. In order to take down their shields, you had to bring them together. Once they were close enough together, the shields would drop, allowing you to do damage. We then saw an ogre who again had a shield, meaning you couldn't damage him, but in order to take down that shield, you had to draw cursed thralls near him, which would then blow up, taking down the shield, allowing you to damage him. And the final boss we saw was a Cabal boss, which had again another shield, which you couldn't damage him until you had taken down all the minions around him. Once all the minions were down, he would then drop his shield, allowing you to attack him. Now these are the bosses for tier 1, we might have a few more than the ones we actually saw here, but you'll also be fighting these guys in tier 2 as well. However, tier 2 will bring 2 bosses from tier 1 together at the same time, so you might be fighting the 3 wizards and the ogre in the same instance. Not only that, these bosses will also have a higher power level than tier 1. As for tier 3, you're going to be fighting a whole host of new bosses that aren't from tier 1 or tier 2. Now each instance has a timer, so you're not going to have all the time in the world to do this. You will have 3 to 4 minutes in order to complete each instance. And for defeating a boss you will actually be rewarded. There is a chest which will open up and engrams will drop. However, if you want the best rewards, then you're going to have to be the person to put the rune in. Now every time the Court of Oryx is activated, it is because someone put their rune in to activate the event. The person who puts the rune in will get the greater reward at the end of the fight. However, you can then do it again with someone else putting their rune in to try and get a greater reward, but you will get a reward nonetheless. It just won't be as good as the person who actually activated the event. Now in order to stop someone from spamming this, who just keeps putting the rune in and you don't get to put yours in, once you have completed an event and you were the person who put the rune in, you will then have a cooldown time which will stop you from activating it again, giving other people a chance to put their rune in and completing the event, allowing them to get the better reward. So that is the Court of Oryx public event. Hopefully I described that clear enough for you guys to understand. If you guys have any questions about how this works, just put them in the comments below and I will try and help out. I will actually leave a link in the description below to Bungie's livestream, so you can go and watch the Court of Oryx livestream and learn more about it if you'd like to do so. Let me know what you guys think of this. Is this something that you're going to be playing over and over again? Something that makes you want to go into patrol? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys missed my previous video in which I talked about the exotic sword we saw in the live stream, as well as the release date and time for the King's Fall raid, then you can click the link on screen or in the description below. Feel free to give the like button a big old hug and subscribe for tons more Destiny content and coverage. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Thank you for watching and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.